Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Oh, yes, we are on, and it is a Football Friday in the Doghouse. It is divisional playoff weekend in the NFL, and nothing screams NFL like the greatest piece of sports music ever recorded in the history of What a way to get your morning going here. It's mid-morning, but you know. Come on, baby. Get up and dance with me. How can you not play that air organ on the dash of your car right now? We got open phone lines. You can jump in 256-576-4977. That's if you're not playing the air guitar right here with him. Right here. Hit it now. Hit it right now. How do you play the air guitar while you're driving? Kramer's digging it. He's like, yeah, go Bill. You know the real thrill, Kenny Hill, he's loving it. You don't even text me, but I know he's loving it. A couple of guys are hating it right now. They're not even listening. You can find us on the Twitter, at 97.7 ESPN and at Thom Abraham Show. On the Twitch and the Facebook at 97.7 ESPN, where you can watch the show as well. You can see that I'm actually wearing one of my work hoodies. I got show hoodies and then I got work hoodies. The work hoodies, my Nashville Venom work hoodie. Everybody's losing their mind right now. We're on the YouTube at 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You can like and subscribe it. All right, let's bring it home. Boom, just like that. By work hoodie, I mean after work today, I got the show. Then I got some stuff I got to do for the station. Then I got to get my stuff together for the hockey game tonight. More on that in a moment. And then I'm going to hang a couple of cabinets in our kitchen as we're in the middle of our kitchen project. So this is a hoodie that I would wear, and then I'll take a shower, get cleaned up, and get ready to go down to the hockey barn. This Nashville Venom 16, something like that. This Nashville Venom hoodie is from back in the day. This is one of the ones. It's got paint on it and stains and stuff. This is one of the ones I wear when I'm working. All right. What else do you need to do? You need to get our app. That's what you need to do. You need to have the links to Zone 2, 3, and 4 for all our great programming that we have. Remember, we got Alabama basketball. We got UAH basketball. We got the Huntsville Havoc hockey team. Best hockey team in the SPHL. We even got some select high school basketball action from here and there. Now, check this out. Tonight is Huntsville Channel Cats night at the hockey barn. Did you know this? I don't know if you knew this or not, Grizz. It's Huntsville Channel Cat night. They're wearing Channel Cat gear tonight at the hockey barn, okay? And I did the final Huntsville Channel Cats game in Huntsville Channel Cats history. Where are my hockey pucks? Did I not display my hockey pucks on the great wall of craps? Oh, there they are. I'm looking right at a Huntsville Channel Cats puck from the final game in the history of the Huntsville Channel Cats. It's signed, I think, by Mike the Gersh. Mike the Gersh. I think it was Mike the Gersh that signed it. I think Mike the Gersh had a heady in that last game. It was the championship game of the SEHL, the Southeastern Hockey League. And they won the championship over the Knoxville Icebergs. I had been in town for about 2 weeks. And Matt Peralt, who was the voice of the Channel Cats, he asked me to fill in because he had a conflict that night. And so I drove up to Knoxville, and I did a Channel Cats game. I went to game 2 of that series, which was in Huntsville, and then I drove up to, just to get familiar with the team. And then I broadcast game 3, which ended up being the final game as they won the SEHL championship over the Ice Bears. John Gibson was the coach. You guys remember Gibby? Mike DeGurse was the star of the team. In 5 years as the Channel Cats, including in one unforgettable, or forgettable, I should say. 5 years as the Channel Cats, and one forgettable year as the Huntsville Tornado. I mean, really? Really? I mean, it's kind of gruesome. I mean, why would you call yourself the Huntsville Tornado and with all the tornadoes that cause such pain to people around here? I mean, really? It's like the Birmingham team being called the Birmingham Drive-Bys or something. See, that was just wrong. See, that was just flat out wrong. All right? That was just wrong. In any event, the Channel Cats, in their 5 years as the Channel Cats, won 3 championships in 3 different leagues. They won the SHL, the Southern Hockey League, in 95-96, the CHL in 98-99, and then the SEHL in 03-04, and now the Havoc have won 3 SPHL championships. This SPHL is so much, better than those. These leagues were a mess. This and look, until Keith Jeffries takes over, hockey in the Valley was a mess. And Jeffries actually took over the front office, not ownership, but the front office of the team, the Channel Cats, in their last year. And then he bought the team and put them in the SPHL, and they became the Huntsville Havoc, and the rest is history. So now the Havoc are, 17 years old, something like that? 16, 17, 18 years old, something like that? A couple of years, they'll have a 20th anniversary, 20th anniversary patches and all that kind of stuff. Now, Friday means the Friday trifecta. Did I mention I'm doing the game tonight? I mean, that's kind of cool for me. You know what I mean? To be the guy that did the last Channel Cats game and turn around and be the guy to do the, Channel Cats night game tonight at the barn is that's an honor for me. The only reason I'm doing it is because Moulton's got a basketball game. So that puts me on the hockey game. But it turned out to be it's Channel Cats night. Got to decide, should I get a Channel Cats lid? I may have to go to the pro shop and score me a Channel Cats hat. I don't know. I mean, to have it, it's a cool logo, the teal and black and everything. But the Havoc is just so much, so much better, so much more history, so much, better logo, better colors. All right, to our Friday trifecta. Let me give it to you right now. You got the Cincinnati Bengals.
You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
Getting 3.5 in Nashville.
Touchdown, Derrick Henry. 72-yard gallop.
That guy's back. The 49ers.
My father's no different than any other powerful man. Any man who's responsible for other people.
The Goodfellas. Getting 5.5 on the frozen tundra.
I love Brett Favre.
I do too. The Los Angeles Rams.
I'm not very tolerant when it comes to the liberals who complain about everything.
I don't know. I got nothing for the Rams. I got nothing. It's L.A., right? It's L.A. Liberals. Not tolerant of those liberals. They get 3.5 at the GOAT.
When I suck, I'll retire.
And the Buffalo Bills.
Anyone who wants a piece of OJ has to get by me.
Will get 1.5 at Patrick Mahomes.
I really appreciate that Patrick price on my insurance. Being a champ has its perks.
Now, here's the deal this week. All right? Jay is leading the Grand Trifecta Big Board right now, which will get you a night in the TOC Ice Suite at an upcoming Havoc game hosted by the Junkyard Babe, myself, and Grizz, and who knows, maybe his girl if she's still around by then. You get 4 spots in the suite. We'll have some chow in there. The first round is on me. Now, the lead is 3 points with Jay and Athens, so everyone is still in it. This week, pay attention, this week we're awarding 1 point per game. No tiebreaker, no nothing. If you get 1 game right, you get 1 point. If you get all 4 right, you get 4 points. You get 3 right, you get 3 points. You understand? So this week you could take the lead. 1, 2, 3, 4 point scoring in this one. Coming up in a few minutes, Alan Bell Jr. from CBS Sportsline is in with his thoughts on the playoff weekend and the 8 NFL head coaching jobs that are still open. Shouldn't we have some of these jobs filled by now? Is it weird? Am I missing something? Did I miss news? I think all 8 are still open. Unless I missed something, which I don't think I did. Speaking of coaches, our Birmingham Stallions of the USFL really now have a head coach. And now it's not a rumor. They actually have a head coach. And it's not Gene Chizik. It's Skip Holtz. And Kirby Wilson got the Pittsburgh Maulers gig. So that leaves the New Orleans Breakers and the Michigan Panthers. The Michigan Panthers without coaches yet. By the way, the Michigan Panthers, they won the championship, the very first USFL championship. They had Anthony Carter from Michigan as a wide receiver, number 1. 84 days to kickoff. And it looks like June Jones is going to return to Hawaii as the coach of the Rainbow Warriors after Todd Graham resigned under pressure. At the top of the 11, Joe Rexrode, who covers the Titans for The Athletic and does the morning show at 102.5 The Game in Nashville, will join us with a Derrick Henry update and preview of tomorrow's Titans-Bengals game. I hope the Titans beat the living snot out of the Bengals. The Bengals, all this talk about the Bengals and the Bengals are this and the Bengals. Last year was all about the Browns. It was great. When the Browns beat Pittsburgh, it was like, the Browns are going to be Super Bowl contenders and Baker Mayfield's coming into his own and Nick Chubb's the best running back. I mean, it was all Browns. It was fantastic. Now it's all Bengals. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I hate them. I hope the Titans beat the living snot out of them. In transfer portal news, it looks like Jalen Moody may be staying with the Tide after all, as he'll be removing his name from the portal. Remember, entering your name does not necessarily mean that you are leaving. Now, when it first started, a lot of these guys, not most, but a lot of these guys would return to their existing school after testing the waters. It's not so much anymore. Coaches are pissed off about this now. A lot of the coaches in college football, you go in the transfer portal, and they're like, we wasted our time. We get the hell out of here. But if you really like a guy, you recruit your own transfer portal. And you recruit him hard. And I think Alabama kind of likes Jalen Moody. Now, in the case of Jalil Billingsley, not so much. I'm not sure the Tide wanted him to stay. But did you see that shortly after he committed to Texas, he lost the protection that Alabama players may have? And I say may have in Tuscaloosa, as he was pulled over at 2 a.m. and issued a misdemeanor traffic citation for failing to yield to an emergency vehicle, and he was released from the scene. Is that really a thing? I mean, I know it's a thing. You're supposed to always pull over, right? But you get a ticket for not pulling over? At 2 o'clock in the morning, how much traffic was there on the road? And he failed to yield to an emergency vehicle? I don't think I've ever heard of anyone getting pulled over for that. What's the most random thing that you have ever been stopped for? I'd love to hear your story. The most random thing. Like, I got pulled over a couple of years ago for not having my seatbelt on. I mean, it wasn't like I was speeding and I got pulled over and he gave me a ticket for not having my seatbelt on. The cop literally saw me driving down the road in town in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. Hell, I couldn't get hurt if I got hit by a car that was driving 30 miles an hour if I was walking. I was in a 30-mile-an-hour zone, and the cop looked in the window, and he saw that I didn't have my seatbelt on and pulled me over and gave me it was a $100 ticket for not wearing my seatbelt. Now, when I was in college, I'm going to talk about random. I got pulled over for beating a railroad barricade as I was coming down. I was on a 1 a.m. beer run. I was 18 years old. Yes, in 1978, the legal drinking age was 18, okay? So I left my apartment. I had a roommate. We had some buddies over. I left my apartment, and I ran up to the convenience store, to the 7-Eleven, to grab a little bit of beer because we were out. I was driving back literally within a mile of my apartment. I was coming down the street, and the thing, ding, 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 and it was just starting to come down. It was like just starting to come down, and I beat it. And you ever do that? You know what I mean? I punched it. I was in town, but ding, 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 ding. The railroad ran right behind our apartment. Our whole apartment like shook. It was like our apartment was like a duplex or a triplex or something like that. And the whole building would shake when the thing went by, when the train went by. But anyway, it said ding, 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 ding. And it was, way a ways. And I just dodged. I just beat it. I just beat the gate. And here comes the popo. Here comes the bubblegum machine all lit up. I got a 12er of beer sitting on the seat. I'm 18 years old. The cop stops me. I'm like, really? I live right there. I'm like, I know that this train isn't going to be here for like 20 minutes. This thing comes down. Ding, 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 ding. It comes down, and the train doesn't come forever. Cop, I gotta take it. I once traded a speeding ticket. Once I was on the radio. I've been stopped a few times, I don't know, 10, since I've been on the radio for the last 25 years. I got stopped in New York when I was on the radio up there. I got stopped. I got a speeding ticket, and I went to the judge, and the judge knew who I was. He recognized me when I got there. Oh, you're Thom Abraham Show, blah, 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 yeah. And I traded the speeding ticket for a week's worth of PSAs not to drink and drive. It was like getting close to 4th of July time, and he said it was like a $100 ticket. And he's like, I'll tell you what, I'll throw this out if you do one PSA a day for 5 days, live read, don't drink and drive. I traded the ticket. I stopped in Nashville a few times by cops that luckily always knew who I was and would cut me free. All right, over in that little glass room playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax, trying not to hit his head on the little slanted ceiling. You know who it is. It's my guy living large on a Friday.
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of the show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put the thing together on a stick of polish.
Brilliant! I've got $100 smoking in my billfold. I know I ought to save it, but it's burning a hole. Right through my pocket and into my skin. Come Monday morning, I'll be broke again. It's finally Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. It's finally Friday, I'm out of control. Forget the working blues and let the good time roll.
Someone call someone, because there's a cleanup on aisle 3 as a man is down.
It's like taking poison, like rat poison.
It's not St. Patty's Day, so that's a different day entirely.
Hey, Grace, what's the craziest thing you ever got pulled over for?
Oh, man.
Have you ever been pulled over?
Yeah, I've been pulled over before. I actually got a speeding ticket off the Parkway.
That's not crazy. That's
it wasn't crazy.
You ever get pulled over for something goofy like text window here? I got pulled over for my windows being too dark. And when I was younger, I had loud speakers, stereo speakers.
Yeah.
I got pulled over. Also got a sound ordinance for disturbing the peace at 5 p.m. on a summer Saturday night, unsigned from the text window. Yeah, the windows being too dark thing is a thing.
Yeah.
I know about my son has one of my sons, my third son. He has
the
too
tint.
darker windows. He bought it used with the windows tinted.
Yeah.
But his windows are tinted too dark. He's going to get clipped. I told him he's going to get clipped.
Yeah, no, I've never done anything like that. I guess I was coming down 36 from Tuscaloosa,
Yeah.
It was early morning, and like it's 2 lanes, and I was trying to get around a car or whatever. Right. And I guess I went too fast, or they said I was trailing him first, but I guess I went around him. Or tailgating, yeah. I guess they said that I was tailgating them, and they pulled me over, and I basically just told him I was tired. I was coming back from school, basically, and the guy let me go. But I mean, other than that, that's not the crazy. I guess that's not the craziest
weird.
thing.
So he pulled you over for tailgating, or
for
going speeding when you went around him?
No, I guess I technically got, because he said tailgating, and I guess he said I was speeding. But he said he watched me for a while tailgate this car when all I remember is when I was getting close to the car. That's when I was like, oh, I need to get around. And I started going around the car, and I got immediately pulled over because I saw the car turn away.
Right.
He immediately pulled me over after the car had turned away. So I was like, it took a minute, and I was kind of confused why I got pulled over. But that's not the weird. I did have a gun pulled on me one time by a police officer. I was heading down the Parkway going towards
you had a gun pulled on you?
Yeah.
I've never had a gun pulled on me.
Not even kidding.
By a police officer.
And it was for the dumbest thing ever. He said that I cut somebody off before an intersection, which was not the case at all. What happened was, as I was coming down the lane, and someone slammed on their brakes, trying to turn right into where the new Publix is on the Parkway, and I went around them and got in the other lane. And it was really hard for me to react. It wasn't like I was looking at anything or texting or anything. But anyway, I get further down the road, and I didn't realize that the guy was behind me. I pull over. My wallet, when I stopped, my wallet fell in the floorboard. So I was as he was walking up, trying to pick my wallet up. And I'm not even kidding. The guy had his gun out, and I looked in my right view mirror, and he's like, "Put your hands on the steering wheel."
Really?
And yeah, and it was.
You buried the lead. Why did you go with that one?
It scared me.
That's a big deal. Because having a gun pulled on you.
Because it was the dumbest pullover, I guess. But also it was I was on my way to wrestling practice. It's a Diamond Sports Bar now, but that's where we did Tiger Youth. And I walked in there for Grissom wrestling practice, and everyone saw me get pulled over, just laughed at me, made fun of me. I mean, it was just wild. But no, that was because it wasn't weird. It was that's a legitimate thing to get pulled over for, because cutting on a lane before an intersection, everyone knows that. You shouldn't change lanes before an intersection. So,
Danny T wants to know if I'll be coming through the Blue Doors tonight at the Habit game. Danny T works security down there at the game. Yes, I will. I do. I skirt everything. I'll come in. I walk around like I own that friggin' joint.
I get nervous sometimes even.
Oh, no.
I don't want to make anybody mad if I'm not in the right place.
Garrett says I was pulled over before for flashing my lights to warn oncoming traffic of a cop ahead. Wow, that's a good one. Oh, my gosh, how random is that?
That's messed up, man. You're
not
supposed
to do that. Yeah, flashing. You're flashing your lights, and it's a cop you're flashing. You're flashing your lights to tell the cop there's just a cop back there. Wow, you can't do that? You can't flash your lights to warn your fellow motorist that there is a cop coming, or that there's a cop back there?
My thing is that kind of makes sense nowadays because it's the law here to get in the other lane.
Yeah, but that's
something's
not
going
flashing
on this.
Your light. I get that.
Yeah, but what I mean is you're alerting the person ahead of time before you get down there, from the other way or something. Something might be going on or whatever. That's what I mean.
Usually, if they pull you, if you forgot, you're young and you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And you forgot to, pull over when the emergency vehicles were going by. The cop pulls you over and says, "Hey, son.
Yeah.
Next time." You're the kid that transferred to Texas? Here's a ticket, young man.
You're Jaleel Billingsley? Okay.
Oh, yeah. You bum. Why didn't you catch a pass once in a while, you bum? All right, let me get these guys in here quick. Wolverine Dan is up first. Wolverine Dan, welcome to the show. How are you?
I got the best cop story. You ready? Real quick.
Yeah.
So they filmed the movie Somewhere in Time on Mackinac Island, right?
Right.
I met Jean Seymour there. I don't know if I ever told you that. Her and I
really
talked there. Yeah.
Big fan.
Very pretty. Anyway, I got a cop pulled me. Oh, there's no cars up there, so the cop pulled me over on the horse. I wasn't in a car, but I had an open bottle of whiskey, and I couldn't find the cap. And he busted me for an open intoxicant and threw me in jail.
Well, were you intoxicated or not?
Well, hell no. It takes a lot. I'm like a horse.
But you did have the open container. The open container's a big one. Yeah, they'll get you for open container.
He pulled me over, and he threw me in jail. So it is what it is. So. Oh, listen, speaking of Gibby, I talked to Gibby this morning. I need to make an announcement. It's very important. The Legends of Huntsville Hockey, beginning of April, my wife and I are part of it. We walk around with buckets and collect money from people, the generous people in Huntsville. And this is our last year. We're not going to do it anymore. Ginger and I are a little long in the tooth, and Ginger's ankles really bother her. And so I think.
You ever even go to the games anymore?
I'm going to go tonight.
You better go tonight. Did you ever go to a Huntsville Channel Cat game? Did you go to Channel Cats back in the day?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was a part of it. You be there. I used to go down below the stadium. It looks like just on top of the moon, or on top of the moon. They got the stalactites and stalagmites from the ceiling.
A lot more people go to Havoc games than used to go to the Channel Cat games. I'll tell you that. That's
yeah. But I used to hang out with the players. We'd have a party underneath. It's called the Blue Line Club. You know what it's all about.
Yeah.
Chief's been a great owner. Chief is really. We're very fortunate to have Keith as an owner, as far as I'm concerned.
There's no doubt about it. I think he might be. I think he might be the best owner in all of minor league sports, and I've worked with a lot of owners in minor league sports, and I think he may be the best owner in all. He's certainly the best I ever knew, and I was very close with Art Clarkson. But he's the best owner. Art was a great promoter. Keith's the best businessman, best owner, overall owner in minor league sports, in my opinion. And the reason I know this is because he refuses to bring an arena football team. I was bugging him about bringing arena football back to the Valley, and he won't do it because he knows it's a losing proposition. All right, let me get you in on these picks. I'm so far over, it's ridiculous. Bengals get 3.5 at the Titans.
God, in your honor, because you've been jonesing all over the Titans, I'll take the Titans.
Touchdown, Derrick Henry, 72-yard gallop.
49ers get 5.5 at the Packers.
It's really cold. No, you got to go with the Cheesies.
I love Brett Favre.
Is that who you took? Yeah, you took the Jeebies. All right, the Rams get 3.5 at the Bucks.
Well, I'm going to take the Bucks before you hit the button. The LA's little plug. When I pick the team, why don't you have like Nancy Pelosi say, "I've got very expensive ice cream in my freezer."
There you go. But she's not. She's San Francisco, isn't she? Isn't her district? She's up. Actually, up. She's up.
They're all fruit nuts out there. Okay.
Yeah, they are fruit nuts out there. You're right. And I got a daughter that lives out there, and she even thinks they're all fruit nuts.
When I suck, I'll retire.
There you go. You take the goat. And the Bills get 1.5 at the Chiefs.
Oh, they're getting 1.5.
The Bills get 1.5.
You know what? The Bills are hot. I should say the Chiefs, but I'll go Bills.
Anyone who wants a piece of OJ has to get by me.
You're in.
All right, my man. Have a great weekend. Maybe of course I'll see you tonight.
Yeah, coming up and see me tonight.
All right, brother.
All right. Well, let me get Dale in here. Dale, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I am fantastic.
I about just had the best cop story ever. I'm sitting here listening to y'all talk about cop stories and not paying attention, and he just flashed his lights at me because I was going too fast. Crap. Get pulled over.
That would be fantastic. I have had guys pulled over while they were on the show. That has happened before.
I swear. He flashed his headlights at me. He was sitting there. The speed limit's like 35, and I was doing like 45. I'm surprised he didn't pull me over. But I do got a couple good ones. One time, years ago, cop pulled us over, black dark. Ain't no way. I don't see how he could, but he said we didn't have our seatbelts on. Me and my son just turned 16. He wrote both of his tickets for not having seatbelts on. My son, 16 years old, just got his license, got a freaking ticket.
Wow.
Then I had another one, pulled us over years ago, and for no reason at all, when I asked him, I said, "Why do you stop us?" He's like, "Well, it's 12 o'clock. What are you doing in my town at 12 o'clock midnight? You ain't got no business riding around." And just gave us a 3rd degree. That's the only reason he pulled us over. I know what we was doing at 12 o'clock. I'm like, really, dude? It was crazy.
That is crazy.
Hey, who won the trifecta last week?
Jay in Athens was the only one that got them all.
Okay, cool. All right, let me get on this so somebody else. I know you're probably up against the break, so let me get in on it.
All right, Bengals get 3.5.
I'm taking the Bengals.
You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
49ers get 5.5 at the Packers.
49ers.
My father's no different than any other powerful man. Any man who's responsible for other people.
The Rams get 3.5 at the Bucks.
I'm going to take the Rams. I just think their defense is going to be too much. I'm just going to go with the Rams. Even though I want to go
I'm not very tolerant when it comes to the liberals who complain about everything.
Yeah. And the Bucks get 1.5 at the Chiefs. Or the Bills, I should say, get 1.5 at the Chiefs.
Yeah. That'd be a good game, the Bucks and the Chiefs. I'm going to go Chiefs.
I really appreciate that Patrick Price on my insurance. Being a champ has its perks.
All right, we got you in, Dale.
All right, appreciate it. Y'all have a good weekend.
All right, thank you. Let's get a break. When we come back, we're gonna Alan Bell Jr. joins us from CBS Sports Night. We'll get his take on the games next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Kerry Rosenblum here with Rosenblum Realty, and we appreciate our MA family. Football season is back again, and we're here for your real estate needs. We've been also doing rental properties for many years. You may have a home that you need to lease out. You don't need the headaches. You need somebody to take care of it, make sure the repairs are done, keep the rent coming in, and screen the tenants. We can do all that for you at Rosenblum Realty, where we do property management services, or you can find a good home to rent as well. Call us at 256-539-9501. Put our years of experience to work for you.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental. Coming in April, Valley will have a second location opening up on the North Parkway between Winchester Road and Bob Wade. They'll be offering bigger contractor-only type equipment, including 10K reach forklifts, 300 series track hose, and larger rollers and dozers, along with other equipment. Valley Equipment's 2 locations will better serve the region and allow them to grow their fleet. Valley Equipment Rental, locally owned for 10 years, where they put more care in every rental. For over 20 years, Audio Insight has been designing and installing systems that integrate today's technology into homes and businesses all over the Tennessee Valley. At Audio Insight, they don't provide one-size-fits-all system solutions. Instead, they design your system from the ground up based on your valuable input. By working closely with you, Audio Insights can ensure that your system will meet your performance, budget, and aesthetic needs. Visit the showroom at 1229 Putman Drive off Jordan Lane and experience some of their fine products firsthand. Visit audio-insight.com to learn more.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The journey for 19 begins this year. This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and we'll bring all the action to you right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Didn't even mention it. Good job by Grizz. Meatloaf died. 74 years old. I have not seen anything as to a cause of death. Certainly wasn't from too much meatloaf, I don't think. If you are my age, I'm not 74, but if you're, 60 years old or 50 years old, meatloaf is kind of part of your growing up. You know what I mean? Little meatloaf back in there. I love.
I know of meatloaf, and I could definitely die of eating meatloaf. To be honest,
you know of meatloaf. If you're my age, you grew up with meatloaf, not meatloaf the food. I mean, with meatloaf, the guy. I mean, this was he was huge, and in more ways than one, he was huge back in the day. This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, which is also huge in town. And Woody Anderson Ford can take care of all of your vehicle needs, no matter what it is. They've got you covered at Woody Anderson Ford in the service department there. It's just absolutely second to none. It's so cool. Woody Anderson Ford and Woody Anderson of Madison. Joining us now, Alan Bell Jr. from CBS Sportsline. AB, welcome in. How are you on this fine eve of the divisional playoffs?
Big Dog, I'm doing fantastic, buddy. I hope the same your way.
I am great as well. It's going to be fun stuff Saturday and Sunday with these games. Am I the only one that doesn't like the primetime games, though, on Saturday night and Sunday night? I wish both of these games were noon and, say, 3:30, 4 o'clock. I wish they were both like that. Maybe it's because I'm an old dude, but I don't like staying up all night, and I'd rather do something with my wife at night. She expects me to watch football on Saturday and Sunday afternoon, but Saturday and Sunday night to have playoff games, it's kind of too much to me.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion either way, to be honest with you. Sunday has kind of a Super Bowl feel, right? Like when you have like a 6 o'clock, 6:30, type kickoff, depending on, your where you're located at. Yeah, like that kind of has a Super Bowl feel to it. But I'm with you, man. Like I kind of like pro football, noon, 3:30. I don't hate primetime games, but I certainly get your point and don't disagree with it. Like, I like a noon game. It just feels right.
Well, it'll be, and Sunday we should just clarify a little bit. I mean, 5:30 our time for the kickoff for the second game for the Bills and the Chiefs, so it's not too bad. Maybe over at 8:30, but the early game starts at 2. Tomorrow things will get started, though, at 3:30 in the afternoon in Nashville. I am so sick and tired of hearing about the Bengals, but I have to preface this by saying I hate the Bengals. I mean, I think I hate them. As a Browns fan, I hate the Bengals. I hate hearing about Joe Burrow, although I really do like Joe Burrow. I hate hearing about Jamar Chase. I wish I had one of those, but I hate hearing about Jamar Chase and how they're the next this and the next that and everything else. It's very similar to all the rhetoric last year about the Browns after the Browns beat the Steelers in the playoffs, and everybody was talking about them and what would happen in the future. But it wouldn't shock me if the Bengals had a little bit of a sophomore slump last year. It seems like these teams, they pop out, and then their second year, sometimes you don't sneak up on anybody. That's kind of what happened with the Browns. It could happen a little bit with the Bengals next year.
Yeah, it could. And, I'm fascinated to see, what the Bengals look like. Now, look, Joe Burrow, consummate pro, he's going to show up. If he's on his game, he could beat anybody in the league, but, it kind of does have to be perfect. I think the Titans are a better overall team. And if they can get Derrick Henry, look, their best defense against Joe Burrow might be Derrick Henry. And I'm not talking about, huge, chunk plays and 80-yard touchdown runs, like just consistently running the football, controlling the game, controlling the clock, keeping the ball out of Burrow's hands. And if the Titans are doing that and converting touchdowns, buddy, that is a difficult thing to beat, because when it's cold, and it's about 20 degrees here right now, and your offense is just kind of sitting in the cold and you're not staying hot, it's tough to get hot. You know what I mean? So I think the Titans kind of want to muddy this game up a little bit, see how tough the Bengals really are.
Yeah, and I guess it's going to be in the mid-30s tomorrow, so it looks like it will be cold for Nashville standards. Certainly it'll be cold, but they're not talking about any precipitation and that type of stuff. So I think from that angle it will be a little bit of a better deal. But doesn't it feel like everybody is just looking at the Bills-Chiefs game as the AFC Championship game? It's like they don't even care which one of those teams goes to Nashville if Nashville's hosting an AFC Championship game next week. They're almost like the winner of the Bills-Chiefs game is going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know. First off, the funny thing what you said, just a minute ago was that, you're tired of hearing about the Bengals. I haven't heard anything about this game, right? Because of exactly what you just said. Like, right. Everybody's talking about the Bills and the Chiefs, and it's certainly going to be a fantastic game. Don't get me wrong. But, you're exactly right. Like, everyone just kind of assumes, like, that's the de facto, AFC Championship, forgetting the fact that the Titans have already beat both of those teams this year, right? Yeah, I think in a row. You know what I mean? So it's like Tennessee's not afraid to play against any of those guys. And look, if the Titans show up and the Titans are, who they've been in terms of you're not running the ball, you're not scoring very much. Like Tennessee is a problem, man. They could be a serious problem because a lot of these teams, they like to throw, obviously, put up points, whatever. Tennessee likes to fight. Like this team is Mike Vrabel,
Yep.
and you're not going to get out of that thing pretty. So, yeah, man, like I'm so fascinated to see it. There's a ton of nervous energy in Nashville for the game tomorrow, but I think if the Titans get past the Bengals, and just kind of avoid that, first game off of a bye risk, they're going to be in pretty good shape playing at home in the AFC Championship.
Have they ever hosted the AFC Championship game?
Nope.
I don't think Nashville's ever had the AFC Championship game. So when they went to the Super Bowl, they won at Jacksonville.
Yep.
Right? They've never hosted, have they?
Correct. Yeah, you're right.
Wow. That'd be something to see if they can get through there. Everyone has said that the 49ers is the team you don't want to play. Nobody wants to play the 49ers in the playoffs. It's going to be single digits on Saturday night on the frozen tundra. Well-rested Aaron Rodgers with all the little injuries and so on. But we know about his playoff record is not great. I mean, Peyton Manning thinks his playoff record is not so good. What about the Packers? It's 5.5 points in that game, too. What about the Packers and the 49ers? And does that weather really impact the 49ers more?
Yeah, it definitely does, right? So, first off, you're right. Aaron Rodgers, his playoff record, isn't great, in terms of, where he's going to finish in the pantheon of, NFL history. But a lot of that has been, crazy enough, against the 49ers. That said, it's always been in San Francisco. This time, they have to come to Lambeau, and you're right, it's going to be, kickoff, it might be 0 degrees or even negative. I think it's -7 there right now.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it's freezing cold up there right now. And understand, Aaron Rodgers, his numbers, in freezing, games in Lambeau are unbelievable. Like the Packers just don't lose those games. And here's an interesting note. There's been 17 games since 1960 played at Lambeau Field that were 10 degrees or colder at kickoff. All 17 of them were 45 points or fewer, and we see a total right now that sits around 47.5, 48, so it might be a good underplay. Also, Jimmy Garoppolo, he's never started an NFL game below 40 degrees, right?
Yeah.
Now, I know he's from Illinois.
Any
I know
game.
He was up in New England. Yeah, but, it's different than when you're there and when you've got to go win a playoff game. So we'll see. I think the cold could definitely affect San Francisco way more than it does Green Bay.
And nobody ever went to Green Bay to Lambeau Field forever and won a game. I mean, I think, I might be lying about this, but I think when Michael Vick and the Atlanta Falcons went to Green Bay and won, that was the first time the Packers lost a game at home in Lambeau Field. Now they've lost a few. They lost to the Giants there. They've lost a few games at home in the playoffs, but it used to be no one ever went there and won. Now, for the record, Aaron Rodgers 11-9 in his playoff history. Now, that's much less than what his winning percentage is in the regular season. 11-9. Really, where most of his issues are in conference championship games. I think he's only 1-5 in conference championship games. Yeah, I think that's the issue for him.
Yep, it is, and a few of them against San Francisco, So they've had their issues there, but again, you get it at home, buddy. That's a nice home field advantage for Green Bay.
And then the Rams getting 3.5 at the GOAT. Look, they looked very goaty, in a game against the Eagles. Now the Rams aren't the Eagles, but I thought that number was a little light, to be honest with you. I easily could see the Bucs winning that game by 7 points or more. What do you think?
See, I'm on the opposite side. I think the Rams
really?
win this game outright. Yeah, I think the Rams take care of business. Look, we know Tom Brady, obviously, with the Bucs playing at home, his numbers are outstanding, right? He's 5-0 in the playoffs with the Buccaneers already. But look, I just look at this matchup here, and I see a Rams team, who their front three is good enough to get after Tom Brady and that, his banged up offensive line. And then you look at the opposite side of it. Look, the Bucs defensive line, they blitz the quarterback 38% of the time. That's second most in the NFL, which is good. The problem is that that's the only area where Matthew Stafford is lethal. Against the blitz, he has 17 touchdown passes this season with only 1 interception. When he's not blitzed, 16 interceptions. So if I look at that and say, all right, I think the Rams can neutralize both lines, and I think the Rams have the better overall team. Yep. Yeah. It's crazy with Matthew Stafford in that. So we'll see. The problem is that you could make all the right choices, and then Tom Brady could just bring you down. If he just goes off, good luck. And, we'll see if Fournette's back too. But, yeah, I'm going Rams in this one.
I don't want to see the Rams hosting the Super Bowl. Not that they would get through Green Bay, but, who knows what happens with San Francisco. But I don't want to see the Rams hosting the Super Bowl in L.A. I would hate that. Alan Bell Jr. with a CBS Sports Line. All right, finally, this seems confusing to me a little bit. We are now a couple of weeks past the end of the regular season. All 8 NFL head coaching jobs are still open. Does this seem weird to you? I mean, I know that you still have a bunch of teams in the playoffs, that we still have 8 playoff teams, that some of those coaches, assistant coaches, might be in the mix. But does it seem odd that all 8 of these jobs are still open to you?
Yeah, usually we have at least one, right?
Yeah.
The fascinating part is this. I think it's going to be one of those to where once one team makes a hire, like the dominoes start to fall, right? Because then everybody starts to feel pressure. But they're looking around saying, okay, well, nobody else has made a decision. We're kind of interviewing these guys. Like, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I think once the first coach goes, then, yeah. And also, Jim Harbaugh could play a big factor into this as well. We don't know if he's going to return to Michigan or if he's going to take, say, a Raiders job or a Bears job. I think that if he makes a decision quickly, which I think that he will, I don't think he'll string this thing along one way or the other. Yeah, that could trigger it for sure.
I wonder if Mark Davis is going to drag his feet. Rich Bisaccia is going to get an interview, but almost, since they blew out Mike Mayock, you would almost think you got to hire a GM first. I would want my GM to hire the head coach. I don't want to hire the head coach as an owner and then fit him with a GM. That's just too hard. And then the Raiders, who have had a lot of dysfunction over the years, they end up picking last, and they're going to be in trouble in this thing if they don't get the GM situation straightened out.
Yeah, see, you know what? I agree with you completely. And especially, if you not only hire a coach before the GM, but you hire the interim who you kind of just said, we'll see, we don't know, and then we're going to hire you again. Like, that gets kind of weird. Like, I think the Raiders really want Harbaugh, because if they get Harbaugh, like, that's the only option to where, okay, then you can hire the GM afterward because they know what they're going to get. Anyone else, yeah, I'm with you. It just kind of hamstring the entire process there. But I think that's why I think if Harbaugh's going to make a decision and he does it quickly, it's going to be with the Raiders.
See, I think it's the Bears because he played for the Bears. He absolutely worships Mike Ditka, and I think the opportunity to be the head coach of the Bears would be something for him. I will say this, too. Brian Flores, he's from Brooklyn. He would fit with the Giants. Brian Flores would fit with the Jags with a young quarterback right there in Florida going up the coast and doing some damage and ticking off the Miami folks. Brian Flores fits with the Broncos or the Chicago Bears, but yet he's still out there in the Houston Texans. He would fit in good with the Houston Texans. All of those jobs, he's a good match for, yet he hasn't been hired, and it's making me wonder maybe some of that talk about him being difficult to work with is true.
Yeah.
Why hasn't he been hired yet? You know how the owners are thick as thieves. You know what I mean? One owner calling the other owner and saying, "Yeah, that guy's such a pain in the ass." Why hasn't he been hired yet? If he was so good?
That's a great point. I mean, because you're right. I mean, he's done nothing but win. The last couple of years. I'm with you. But yeah, you nailed it right there. I mean, this league, the NFL is a big product, but it's a small little town family, right? Like there's a lot of talking going on. On the outsides of it. So that could be it, man. Like, that's another thing to watch out for. Good point. I didn't even think about that.
Always a pleasure. Enjoy the great NFL football playoff weekend. Alan Bell Jr. has been our guest. AB, I appreciate you.
Hey, appreciate you, Big Dog. Have a great weekend, buddy.
Let's get a break in here. When we come back, we'll set you up for hour number 2 next, and we'll have a lot of open phones in hour number 2 as well on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com. Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Thom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Bring that playoff intensity every day to our shows.
Bring it on, Chop. Let's go.
Okay, maybe just for Drew DeArmond.
Bing. Me.
Listen for Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew. Weekday mornings starting at 7 on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
TOC Sports, they'll take care of all your orthopedic needs, whether it is a work injury or a sports injury, whatever kind of injury it is. Maybe it's an old people injury, okay? Whatever it is, when you need an orthopedic, you need the docs at TOC. They've been taking care of the Valley for over 20 years, and they can do it for you. It's your only choice, really, when it comes to orthopedic specialists, and they've got specialists in each department, which is really cool. I have toured the facility. It is incredible down at the hospital, the facility that they have down there, and then on Governors, and then of course they've got satellite facilities all over the Tennessee Valley as well. All right, coming up in the top of the second hour, Joe Rexroad will join us. Joe is a good friend. He covers the Titans for The Athletic. He also does the morning show on 102.5 The Game in Nashville. We'll get his take on just how much Derrick Henry will play in this game tomorrow between the Titans and the Bengals, and what the Titans need to do to neutralize what is an explosive Bengals offense. And I say that begrudgingly. Of course, they were swept this year by the Browns. We know that. You know, the Browns swept them this year. Somehow they eked in. To the playoffs. Well, they won the division, but you know what I Anyway, we'll get that going with Joe Rexrode next. And in hour number 2, a very disturbing trend in college coaching that bothers me. Maybe it doesn't bother others, but I have to mention it because my name is on the show. And, if it bothers me, then I got to talk about it. All coming up in hour number 2 right here on the Thom Abraham Show. Football Friday in the Doghouse, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Here's another listing from the 97.7 ESPN The Zone job board. Automation Personnel Services is seeking a hardworking warehouse operator for a well-respected pharmaceutical company in Huntsville, with pay starting at $15 an hour. Learn more at 977ESPN.com. Does your business have positions it needs filled? Contact 97.7 ESPN The Zone today to get your openings announced on the 97.7 ESPN The Zone job board. Just email Joe at abrahamBroadcasting@gmail.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000-square-foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening. Surprised, disappointed, but undeterred. That's what Russell Westbrook says he felt after his benching late in the Lakers' loss to the Pacers on Wednesday. The point guard told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski he didn't agree with his fourth quarter benching by Coach Frank Vogel, but remains determined to figure things out and do what's best in the long run for the team to win. Westbrook also told Woj he was disappointed he did not go back into that game, but was more disappointed they lost. Lakers back on the court tonight in Orlando against the Magic. NHL Bruins winger Brad Marchand left last night's win over the Capitals with an upper body injury after being hit from behind. Will be reevaluated today. Boston could ill afford to be without Marchand, their most valuable player, for any extended period of time. He leads the team with 20 goals and 23 assists this season.
I wanna thank you. Thank you for making us your number one choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, Here he is, the big dog. Let's go, baby! Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho. Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? And somebody responds. Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back, hour number 2 on a Football Friday in the Doghouse. This segment of the show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. We're at Valley Equipment Rental. They just do an absolutely outstanding job making sure that you have the right tool to get the job done properly, whether it's a big piece of equipment like an excavator or maybe a skid steer with an attachment or a lift. Or if it's a small hand tool that you need to get the job done, they can make sure that you have the tool to do it properly. And they'll train you up. You know what I mean? If you go in and you say, I need that thing that does this thing here, and, well, yeah, this is the tool that you want to use for that, and it'll make it work. Like I need an airless sprayer. I'm going to need an airless sprayer to spray all the cabinets, for the kitchen renovation we're doing, and I'm going to need an airless sprayer. So I go to them and say, hey, just give me a quick overview on how to use this thing. Boom, 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 and you're all taken care of. This is the kind of stuff they do at Valley Equipment. Got a new location coming on North Parkway as well for heavier equipment for the contractors. We're talking about big excavators, dozers, big lifts, things like that that they'll have out there as well. Locally owned, Ross Roberts and his crew do a great job for you. Also doing a great job for The Athletic covering the Titans and on the morning show, 102.5 The Game in Nashville. It's Joe Rexroad. He's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Joe, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. How you doing?
I am fantastic. And I got to ask you, because of my history in Nashville and the time that I spent on the radio there, and I know when the Preds are playing well that they become a big topic. The Titans here with an opportunity to advance and host their first ever AFC championship game at home. But the Preds have been playing really, really well. During the last couple of weeks with the Titans on the bye, how much conversation and attention do the Preds get, or is it all Titans all the time with you guys up there on the game?
Well, it's mostly Titans. I wouldn't say it's all Titans. I mean, we're the affiliate at ESPN 102.5, so we have some built-in Preds guests every week, including a player every week, a coach once a week. So there's automatically some Preds talk that's going to be built in, and the Preds have been really good. I mean, the Preds until about a week ago were number one in the Western Conference, which is very surprising. But yeah, I mean, I would say it's been still, even with the bye week, it was still 85% Titans. I mean, it's that time.
Yeah, it is that time, and there's a lot of excitement, a lot of talk about the Cincinnati fans that are coming down for the game. We know that over the years. Especially because of the type of city that Nashville is and the fact that the Titans are still relatively new in terms of history, just 21, 22 years since coming to Nashville now. But do you expect this to be this is going to be like when Pittsburgh comes in or the Cowboys come in or the Packers come in. Hopefully, Titan fans going to show up en masse and keep these heinous Bengal people out of the stadium. What do you think?
Yeah, no. In fact, Bill's Mafia showed up this year.
Oh yeah,
they absolutely took over Broadway, but they didn't take over the stadium. I mean, even for that, a lot of those people, thousands, could not get a ticket, and that was about a 70-30 Titans fan stadium that night. Now, granted, 30% still makes a big impact. I mean, you could sense the Bills fans, but they didn't come close to taking it over. And I don't expect this to be any kind of a takeover. This is my 6th year, Tom, of covering the Titans, and it's not even close. The attendance and the attendance of Titans fans this year compared to all the other years, which I assume has to do with probably a few things. Probably one, some people missed going last year when it was COVID and limited attendance, but also I think just the excitement about the team and the sort of the build up to this year. You get Julio Jones. You've won the division last year, all that stuff. So it's been really good, and I would expect tomorrow to be it's the hottest ticket of the 4. The Titans also did it. Titans also did a thing with the resale sites where they're only allowing it to start at the 24-hour mark. So it's still those are all turned off. The transfer functions are turned off until today at 3:30, which to them is a strategy to keep Bengals fans from like buying stuff early in the week and planning to come down. So I don't know how much that'll work it out, but I think it'll be. I mean, you can have some visiting fans, but it won't be a ton.
I forget how they did that, but the Predators used to do that with the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah,
they used to do somewhere they could make it where you could only get 2 tickets or something like that. And
that was based on your zip code.
Yeah, your zip code.
Yeah. People, that's extreme.
that is crazy. No, that's good to hear that it was like that. And I was there in 2008 on the air with the 13-3 year, number 1 seed. Yeah. Everybody was excited about it. Chris Johnson, and that was against the Ravens, and that was the game that the Ravens, in my opinion, clearly dirty play, twisting Chris Johnson's ankle, and that was the end of the Titans. After that, Kerry Collins wasn't that good that he was going to carry a team that didn't have Chris Johnson. Interestingly enough, the key to this game could be the emergence and the reemergence of Derrick Henry. Everybody's talking about how much will Derrick Henry play. He's definitely going to be up. In your opinion, is he just a limited spot duty player, or is it going to be like, you know what, Derrick Henry's good to go, and that means Derrick Henry's going to carry the ball 20 times?
I think it's more the latter than the former. I mean, look, I'm sure if the Titans had their druthers, they'd love to do some kind of ramp up where, everything goes well and the defense is playing great, Tannehill playing great, and they can, give him the ball 12, 15 times and, build him up to an AFC Championship game. But, to me, Tom, if this game is a one-score game either way in the fourth quarter, and he looks like Derrick Henry. I mean, he's out there on the practice field. He was in pads the other day. He's healthy. He's 100%, or he wouldn't be out there. If he looks like that up until the fourth quarter, I mean, you can't tell me that they're not going to give it to him over and over again in the fourth. So I think it's just how the game develops. I would think that early on, maybe Deontay Foreman, who's done a really good job in his place, would get a series or two, and they'd try to kind of mix it up a little bit and let him get acclimated. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a real chance he's north of 20 tomorrow. Yeah, Joe Rexrode with us here talking about Titans and Bengals. Now, they did play last year. It was early November. It was up in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow was up, though. It was before the injury of Joe Burrow. He had 249 yards in the game, a couple of touchdowns as well. But the Titans ran the ball great in that game, if you remember. 29 carries, 218 yards. They averaged 7.5 yards per carry in that game. Is there anything that you take from that game that you can move forward and say, they ran the ball great against them last year? First and foremost, we got to see whether or not they can rip off these 6 and 7 yard runs like they did last year up there in Cincinnati. Yeah, I don't know how much you can put on that. I mean, DJ Reader has kind of become their space eater inside, and Logan Wilson. They've got some guys who have kind of emerged now. Of course, they also lose Larry Ogunjobi, who was a big part of their D-line. Right. But they've got a lot better. I will say, though, if you look at the Bengals, they've got the quote-unquote fifth-best rush defense, which is based on per game. They also have had some of the fewest rush attempts against them for various reasons, including just some blowouts where the opponent is just throwing the ball the whole time. So if you look at, like, yards per carry, they're middle of the pack. The deeper rush stats, they're fine, they're okay, but they're not great or elite. So I do think, I mean, if you watched last week, Josh Jacobs had some lanes. Now, if you're the Bengals, you're probably not as worried about him as you are about Derrick Henry, but I think the Titans will be able to have some success. But you got to be balanced, it's got to be play calling, and you got to be able to keep them honest with Tannehill too. I think you also look at how the Cleveland Browns played them. Even though the Browns missed the playoffs, they swept the Bengals, and they ran the ball really well against the Bengals. As good as they were defensively, I mean, the next best running back to me in the NFL after Derrick Henry is Nick Chubb, and the Browns were able to do some damage on the ground against them. Well, don't let Colts fans hear you say that, but yeah, I mean, no, Nick Chubb is excellent, and you're right. Now, the second game they ran for 200 yards, and the Bengals they didn't play Burrow, or I don't count that, but they ran for 150 plus in Cincy, went in there and thumped them and did what they wanted to offensively. So, yeah, like the Broncos, the Bears, some teams that like to run had like 120, 130 plus. They did do that was the season opener. It was so long ago, but they shut down Dalvin Cook in the opener. So, I mean, there's some examples of them being really good, but it's different too. It's just different with Derrick Henry. I mean, he's just the physicality of him late in the game is different, and obviously just the risk of stacking the box, because if you do let him get to the second level, then he can outrun a safety taking a good angle to the end zone.
What is interesting, and I'm sure you saw these numbers earlier in the week, but it might have even been you that wrote it. I don't know. I read so much stuff. It might have been you that wrote it at The Athletic. But what's interesting is that the yards per carry and the impact that Derrick Henry has on the offense, 15 points higher for Ryan Tannehill in his passing rating, and the fact that when Derrick Henry is on the field, they average almost a full yard per play more. And then when Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, and A.J. Brown, they were only together for 120 snaps on the season. But when they were together, they averaged 7 yards per play, which is better than anybody in the NFL by almost a yard. I mean, that's an incredible impact, when you talk about those three guys being together.
Exactly. And, that's the thing. It hasn't just been Derrick Henry being gone. It's been Brown out, Julio Jones out, the offensive line banged up. I mean, basically Ryan Tannehill and the right tackle David Quessenberry are the only two people who have been there the whole time, So, and if you look, the best example I think of that would be the Kansas City game. They scored on all 5 possessions in the first half, 4 touchdowns and a field goal. They just did whatever they wanted to do. Those 3 guys all made plays, and they looked dominant. And that's what they're hoping to see tomorrow. We just haven't seen much of it. But I think Julio Jones in particular, who has been very underwhelming this year, disappointing. He started to look a little bit more like himself late in the season, run a little better. The hamstring stuff is kind of washed away, and he's a guy to watch tomorrow because I assume the Bengals are going to shade some coverage toward A.J. Brown. Obviously, you're worried about Derrick Henry. Julio Jones is the guy who should benefit from that, and I think he might be ready to do so.
He did lead the team with 14 yards per catch. He just didn't have very many catches. He only had 31 catches, 434 yards on the season, and just the 1 touchdown. So it will be interesting to see everybody being in there and everybody being healthy and how they handle it. I do think that I don't want to sleep on Dante Foreman. I think it is interesting that he averaged the exact same 4.3 yards per carry that Derrick Henry was averaging on the season. He did end up with 133 carries, so it's a pretty good little body of work. And he did a great job, I thought, holding things down in the running game during this time that, and Hilliard was snapping off some pretty good runs as well. They did a good job. That's a testimony to that offensive line while Henry was out.
Yeah, and look, Foreman did that, and let's defenses just approach the Titans differently. What really fell off without Henry was the passing game. What really fell off was the teeth of that play action game. Because I think teams could play the Titans more straight up. I mean, I asked Vrabel about that, and he kind of blew it off. Like his example was the Dolphins run blitz the whole game, and that's what they do. But I don't think there's any question that with Henry out, teams were less inclined to be aggressive and to even gamble to stop the run, and more inclined to play straight up, and that hurt the passing game. With Derrick Henry back, the play action windows should be a little bit bigger, I would think, if he's truly Derrick Henry back.
Has it been I'm watching it from 90 miles away now, so it's a little different, but has it been my imagination, or has Mike Vrabel gotten more and more ornery over the last couple of years? The more settled he gets, the more he wins. It just seems like he's starting to channel a little more Belichick. It seems like he's gotten more pissed off with the media at times. Has he changed a little bit over the last 4 years?
No, I don't think too much.
No?
He's been pretty testy at times the whole way. I mean, actually, really early in his tenure, he had some pressers where it was almost weird how he was getting ticked off about little trivial stuff. I mean, he's moody, and he's certainly a guy who he knows what everyone says and writes. There's no doubt about that. So at times, especially if they have a big win, is when sometimes you'll see something will slip out, kind of stick it to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say he's about the same. And then some days he's come in there cracking jokes, and he might give some great answers on stuff. It's he tries to be Belichick. The personality isn't at all Belichick, but he tries to be that in those pressers.
Yeah. Well, that's not a terrible guy to emulate as far as on the field as well, and he has done nothing but win really with the Titans. They're always overachieving. There's never any expectation, and they're always overachieving. And he overachieved again this year in terms of what the media thought. I think that Vegas' over and under on him was like 7.5, something like that. And they ended up winning another division championship. And I hope they listen. I'm a Browns fan, big time. All my life. I hope they smoke the Bengals. I'm so sick of hearing about the Bengals. I hope they smoke them, but we'll see how it all shakes out. And this whole mindset, I know the players are aware of it. They try to act like that they're not and whatnot. But the whole mindset, nationally, everybody's talking about Sunday night is the AFC Championship game. It's like the Bills and the Chiefs, two teams that got beat by the Titans. The Bills and the Chiefs are playing for the AFC Championship. And so, oh yeah, that's right. They'll have to go to Nashville to win that, maybe. But it's like it's like an afterthought that the Titans could possibly even win the AFC Championship.
Oh yeah, and believe me, I mean, I know Titans fans get mad about that, but trust me, Vrabel loves it. I mean, because he uses every little bit of disrespect he can find out there, and there's no question they are. Which is, I mean, it's kind of nice for them this week actually because they're the favorite in this game, and yet because of that, they still have another reason to be ticked off and feel disrespected. So it seems to help them sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, appreciate you, Joe. Great work on The Athletic and at 102.5 The Game. We appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us here today.
All right, Tom. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Thanks. We'll see. Joe Burrow was the second highest rated passer in the NFL at 108.3. Ryan Tannehill was 20th. Derrick Henry ended up still leading the team. He only played 7 games, led the team with 937 yards, was 9th in the league in rushing, and played half a season. With Joe Mixon at 1,205 yards, ended up 3rd. All right. We'll see. A lot of people feel like, Titans are the underdog in a game in their own building. Bengals offense, 13th, Titans, 17th. Yards per play, Bengals 7th in the league, Titans 22nd. Rushing yards per game, Titans 5th, 23rd for the Bengals. And I think that's going to be a big factor tomorrow. I really do. All right, we'll get a break. We have open lines the rest of the way now. Open lines the rest of the way. I got several texts I want to look at. I want to hear your crazy stories. Jalil Billingsley got pulled over for not, what do they call it? He got issued a misdemeanor traffic citation for failure to yield to an emergency vehicle in Tuscaloosa. Look, if he doesn't transfer to Texas, maybe he doesn't get the ticket. Hey, I'm 19 for the Tide. Oh, look, Jalil, don't do that. I thought they pull you over and they say don't do that. I've had some crazy things happen to me over the years. But I'd love to hear some of the crazy things that you got stopped for over the years. And your picks for the trifecta. Bengals plus 3.5 at the Titans. 49ers plus 5.5 at the Packers. The Rams plus 3.5 at the GOAT. The Bills plus 1.5 at the Chiefs. And what we're doing this week on the big board, you get 1 point for every pick you get right. The lead right now is 3. So Jay, I'm sure we'll get in. Jay and Athens is leading. We have got the Ice Suite, the TOC Sports Ice Suite on the line here for the grand trifecta. We'll take this through the Super Bowl. We'll have our prop fecta before the Super Bowl and then our super fecta for the Super Bowl. Championship fecta next week. 4 games, 4 points on the board. No tiebreakers or nothing. You get 1 point for every game you get right. Open lines next. 576-4977. 256-576-4977 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
2 titles on the line Saturday night in Anaheim at UFC 270. The heavyweight title bout between Cyril Gane, the -155 favorite, Francis Ngannou, the current champ, a +130 underdog. For the flyweight title, defending champion Brandon Moreno -175 and Davison Figueiredo +150. Super Bowl national anthem prop bet, the first player to be shown during the anthem, -140 on Tom Brady, +100 on Patrick Mahomes. The NFL playoffs down to 8 teams as the divisional round kicks off tomorrow. The Bengals a 3.5-point underdog at the Titans, and the Packers a 5.5-point favorite at home against the 49ers. On Sunday, the Rams +2.5 at the Bucks, and the Bills getting a 1.5 at the Chiefs.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Before the Trash Pandas blast off for their 2022 season, SEC Baseball is setting the stage at Toyota Field. On Tuesday, March 8th, the Auburn Tigers will host a regular season game against the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. First pitch is scheduled for 6:05 p.m. with all gates at Toyota Field opening at 4:30. You can enjoy all the entertainment and thrills of a Trash Pandas game mixed with the campus spirit you only get with college athletics. Get your tickets now while they are still available at trashpandasbaseball.com/Auburn.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000 square foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on 2 services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Saving at the Home Depot means you can do more for less. Like upgrading your kitchen with a top-rated Samsung kitchen suite, a smart range with air fry, a smart cooling system refrigerator, and a dishwasher with advanced quiet cycles. And with free delivery, the savings come to you. Shop in-store, online, or in the Home Depot app. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last. Valid 1/6 through 1/26/2022. Free delivery on orders of $396 or more.
Hello, this is Kerry Rosenblum Realty, and we're part of that MA family. It's great to see football season back in, and we're at Rosenblum Realty trying to take care of all your real estate needs, whether home buying or selling. We'd like for you to put our 64 years of experience to work for you. We have 4-generation family ownership, and again, take a personal touch to taking care of your real estate needs. Call us at 256-539-9501 or rosenblumrealty.com.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is your big game headquarters all fall long. And with our new fall features, every day is game day at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Try our pregame starters, including our homemade onion strings, always fresh hot lips, and our all-new Buffalo Dippin' Chicken appetizer. Our main events include incredible chicken, fish, and shrimp selections, always featuring local Alabama Gulf seafood. And don't forget our Sunday Blitz, 11 to 6. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Once again, another cold day across North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures only climbing into the mid-30s. With a wind chill, though, north winds sustain 15 to 20 miles per hour. It's only going to feel like it's in the low and mid-20s, dropping into the upper teens and lower 20s as we head into the overnight. More sunshine for your Saturday. Temperatures climbing just a little bit, upper 30s and lower 40s, dropping into the mid-20s as we head into the overnight. Plenty of sunshine for your Sunday. Temperatures hanging out in the mid and upper 40s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage, serving all of Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee. Dream makers is what they are, North Alabama Mortgage. Dream makers, I tell you. Brian Hammaker and his team doing conventional VA, FHA, and USDA loans. Purchases and refinances. You're buying a house, this is the guy you need to get pre-approved and be ready to rock and roll. And they'll get you through the process. They'll walk you right through the process. Their staff is so great. They do a great job. And they're also doing the cash-out refinances, home renovations, college expenses, weddings, whatever it is that you got that money buried in your house, they'll help you get it out is what they'll do. And they do a tremendous job with it. And they're going to tell you right up front whether or not it's a good idea or not. That's the best thing, too, about North Alabama Mortgage. They're not going to jerk around with you and put you in something that you don't need. I had been getting all kinds of, inquiries from all kinds of places, including the place I had my existing mortgage with. And what I did was, because I trust Brian Hammaker, I called him up and I said, hey, I'm getting bombarded with this stuff. He said, that's junk, that's junk, that's junk. Okay, let me put your application through a couple of other companies, and we'll see what we come up with. And they did a great job getting it done for us. And now, because of what we did, we've got a new kitchen on the way. We're about halfway through a really cool renovation. And remember early in the show, Grizz, I told you that I'm wearing the work sweatshirt today.
Yeah.
It's got the pocket in the front. I'll show you that it's the work sweatshirt. This is what's in the pocket. Every time I read, my fingers are all getting raw because I have my hands in my pocket while I'm broadcasting, and I got all these drywall screws. Drywall screws in there. These are fantastic. I use these for everything, about as wood screws. They're drywall screws, but I'm using these to put up the upper cabinets and the lower cabinets. So getting them. We didn't get all new cabinets. What we did was my wife came up with this design, and she's really good at it. I mean, I don't know what the hell she's doing.
Cabinets inside of the cabinets.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. She has this imagination, and I can't.
Did she learn off one of her shows?
Oh yes, I'm sure. Oh, she saw them all. I mean, she could be on one of those shows. She should be on one of those. Flip My Kitchen or something. She should be on something like that. But she comes up with this idea, we're gonna move these two cabinets and we're gonna put them over there, and I'm like, no, we're not. And she goes, oh yes, you are. And then we're gonna pull the stove out of the island. We're gonna knock the second tier off the island so it's all one level island. And then we're going to put this new stove over there, and those two cabinets we're going to pull out of over there, we're going to put in the island, and they're going to fit perfectly. And I'm like, no, they won't. And they do. You know what I mean?
Perfect. She did it perfect.
Yeah, and I'm like,
she knows how it's going to work.
You can't do that. And she does it, and it's like, But
that's awesome.
So she's right, and
she's always right.
And she's down there. But we're going to take all of the doors off the cabinets, and we're going to paint the boxes, and then we're going to get all new doors unfinished. I'm going to paint those, and we're going to reinstall the new doors. It's going to look like a new kitchen. Okay. And so she's down there painting, and I mean, she does the crap. I mean, she's not just like looking at it and talking about it. She's down there doing crap, She's painting everything and ripping stuff out. She took all the tile off the backsplash, and I won't touch the tile. She's going to do the subway tile backsplash. She'll do all of that herself. I can guarantee you that. I mean, she does that.
Very cool.
I get the big sander for the floor. Like we got 100-year-old wood floors, hardwood floors. So I get the big sander, from the rental place, right? I get the big sander, and I go and I sand the floor down with that, and then she gets on her hands, and it takes me like a half an hour, and then she gets on her hands and knees for the next 2 hours and 3 hours and just sands all of the corners and everything by hand with a palm sander. And I'm like, hey, knock yourself out. I'm watching the game. So,
yeesh, I couldn't do that.
No, she's tireless, but that's she. And, here's the funny thing: she enjoys it. She does it because she wants to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm scared as to what the next thing is that's going to happen when this is done. She does it because she wants to do it. But anyway, thank you to North Alabama Mortgage for making all of that possible. 50 years ago this week, Grizz, 50 years ago this week in music, American Pie becomes number one.
Very nice.
It was 50 years ago. American Pie, bye, Miss America. Yeah. American Pie. It's the 50th anniversary of American Pie.
I'm 32, and it seemed old when I was young.
It was old when you were young. Holy crap. And Don McLean, who's still alive, he is like on tour with this tour that he's doing for American Pie. And it's it's about Richie Valens and the Big Bopper and Buddy Holly, the guys that died in that plane crash.
Yeah.
Back in the day the music died. And anyway, he's doing these concerts all over the place, and he's actually going to be at the Ryman in Nashville. I don't know exactly when it's going to be. I should look it up, but he's going to be. Oh, here it is. At some point in time, he's going to be at the Ryman in Nashville. Don McLean, May 12th at the Ryman Auditorium. Don McLean, it's 50th anniversary of American Pie. He's doing. Oh my gosh, he's got to be doing. He's doing like 40 shows in Europe, and probably 30 shows in the United States. Crazy. And tomorrow, perfect tune-up to the college or to the NFL playoffs. Perfect tune-up to the Titans game at noon. Huge college basketball game. Number 12, Kentucky, at number 2, Auburn. That one is coming up at noon tomorrow on CBS. Should be a great game. I think Auburn's going to hammer them. I think Auburn's going to get after them a little bit. It would be a huge win for Kentucky. This is the best Kentucky team they've had in a few years. So there's that as well. All right, let's get to the lines. We start with Keith, the Michigan fan. Keith, welcome in. How are you? Oh, wait a minute. Grizz is on another. There we go. Hey, Keith, how you doing?
Doing all right. Hey, before I get to my picks, you were talking about police stopping you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in 79, I had a brand new, I think it was a Cutlass Supreme, something like that right there. And I was delivering mail. I worked for the post office at the time. Just got out the military. I pulled up at home, parked on the side of the house, and 4 police officers get out of a vehicle, an unmarked vehicle, and asked me, what am I doing driving this car? Well, I was delivering mail out my vehicle also.
Yeah.
So I told him, hey, I just got out the military. I'm working for the post office. If you look in the back of my window, you will see a U.S. post sign, and I live right here. So they looked at me, and then they got back in their vehicle and left. But back then, the Big Four was 4 big white police officers, and if they thought you did something wrong, hey, back then you can be beaten and, whatever, murdered basically, and nothing much was said about it.
Well, yeah, but that didn't happen a lot. I mean, it's not like the cops are out there hunting folks. I'm sure they listen. I don't know if you heard in the first hour, Grizz got pulled over and for doing something next to nothing, and he had the cop pull a gun on him. Cop came out, gun drawn, on Grizz, and that's he's like the whitest freaking guy I know, Grizz.
It's not a matter of black and white. It's just police officers back in the 70s, 60s, 80s, whatever. If they thought you had drugs, you might get shot.
Oh yeah. Well, I saw it at a football game. I was at a Bills game, and a fight broke out in the stands, and 4 police officers showed up, and it was like 50. The fight was getting bigger and bigger, and I thought they were going to start shooting people then. A lot of it has to do with fear. I think the police officers, they're fearful, like they're going to come up on a car, and I think there was, to be honest with you, because we have social media now, we hear a lot more now about violence between the public and the police and the public. I think back then, it was more dangerous for a cop to walk up on the side of the car than it is even now. I bet there was more people back then, that were packing and stuff like that. It might have been a little more dangerous.
It was, because you're a police officer and you walk up to a vehicle on a dark road, they shoot you and drive off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think about, I saw an article where they called Nick Saban a hypocrite because he wrote the senator from his Virginia.
West Virginia? Yeah, he signed that letter, and he was clear. They omitted a part of the letter that he wrote when it became public. There was a note that he wrote on the bottom saying that he still was for a certain amount of of ID and things like that. It was for the voter suppression. They're worried about voter suppression and people not being able to vote and things like that. And it was interesting that a lot of guys. It was Jerry West, some other West Virginians had signed that thing.
Right.
And it was interesting that he kind of stepped into the political realm like that. You got to give a guy credit that not just hiding behind just being a coach. You know what I mean? That's fine. That he got. I don't know that he's a hypocrite. A lot of people, I feel like everybody, you guys should do everything in their power to make sure that everybody has a voice and gets heard and can vote, right? But on the other hand, I think you should have to have ID. I think that you draw the line there. You can't buy a beer with ID. You cannot drive a car without ID. You should have to have ID to vote, and that's not, targeted towards anybody.
Yeah, but what happens when somebody wins an election by say 50,000, and the state legislators say, "Hey, that wasn't our guy. It don't count. We throwing it out."
No, you can't do that. Now you can't just throw it out. You gotta try and go back through, and that's why when they went through. They found the problem wasn't so much the people that voted illegally or that were out of state or whatever. The problem that a lot of people had with the election was the fact that they changed the rules during, right before the election. We had rules, and then they changed the rules during the and then yes, by the letter of the law, of the new law, all of those votes were legal votes, so nobody stole the election. The question was, why were some of these rules changed in certain states?
You're in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
But let me get to my pick.
All right. Bengals get 3.5 at the Titans.
I'm going to go with the Bengals.
You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
The problem is some people want to put the pandemic rules in going forward now. You know what I mean? And we don't want to do that. We want to make it, let's get back to some kind of norm.
Yeah.
You should show up and vote.
We got to have it. Right. It has to be normalcy.
Yeah, you got to show up and vote. The 49ers get 5.5 at the Packers.
Packers.
I love Brett Favre.
The Rams get 3.5 at the Bucks.
That's a tough one. I'm going to go with the Rams.
I'm not very tolerant when it comes to the liberals who complain about everything.
Yeah, them Los Angeles people.
I hate going against Tom Brady, but
yeah,
I got to see Matthew Stafford at least make it to the Super Bowl.
That hook is dangerous. That 3.5, that makes it dangerous. The Bills get 1.5 at the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I really appreciate that Patrick Price on my insurance. Being a champ has its perks.
All right, Keith, we got you in.
All right, thanks.
I've always been one that thought, you know what, you should show up to vote. You should make an effort to vote. Can't go to people's house and ask them, who you want to vote for. Here's a form. Here's a voting form. Fill this out. Now, you know what? There should be some effort made to vote, unless you're shut in, and there's rules for that, But for the most part, at this point in time, get your ass up, make sure you got an ID, and go vote. Personally, I think we ought to pre-qualify people to vote. You got to, know some civics. You know what I mean? You should have to know something. And people are voting for stuff they don't even know what the hell they're voting.
I've been going to the same place since I turned 18. I go to the same place every year.
Right. But you educate yourself about what you're voting for.
Exactly.
You know what you're voting for.
Yeah, and it's not like I don't base my voting off of popularity or fear-mongering or you know what I mean? It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be. You should have I shouldn't if I was the opposite of what you are, Tom, I shouldn't, or either way, I shouldn't be negative or even care at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I shouldn't. It shouldn't be a big issue.
You're not voting against. You're voting for.
Yeah, exactly.
What you believe in and stuff. But it all changed in the 90s. It all changed with social media. Now, some people say it changed in the 80s with Ronald Reagan because he was so, he was such a dynamic speaker. But really, you could say, look, there was a reason why Richard Nixon, 1960, running against JFK.
Yeah.
The debates, they had the debates. The people that listened to the debate on the radio said that Nixon won the debate. The people that watched the debate on TV said that JFK won the debate. Nixon on TV looked unshaven. He looked like he was beaten up, sweating and stuff like that, whereas Kennedy was just cool as hell. Good-looking guy and cool. But if you listened to it on the radio, you thought Nixon won the debate. But in the 90s, it all changed. Social media is coming. We're starting to get more different kinds of social media stuff. But when Bill Clinton went on the Arsenio Hall show and played the saxophone, there was a whole group of people that said, what a cool dude. It was old man George Bush, the original George Bush. There was old man George Bush against, did you see Clinton play the saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show? And they always referred to Clinton as the first black president. Clinton was the first black president. Josh is next. Josh, welcome to the show. How are you?
Great. How you guys?
Fantastic.
To make my picks.
All right.
Trifecta.
Bengals get 3.5 at the Titans.
Tom, I'm with you. I do not never have never will like the Bengals. I got to go with the Titans.
Touchdown, Derrick Henry, 72-yard gallop.
I hate them. I just hate them, those stupid striped helmets. The 49ers get 5.5 at the Packers.
I got to go with the Packers.
I love Brett Favre.
The Rams get 3.5 at the Bucks.
Got to go with the GOAT again. He paid off for me last week, so let's go with the Bucks.
When I suck, I'll retire.
And the Bills get 1.5 at the Chiefs.
I think I'm going to go with the Bills.
Grizz, you got to make sure
anyone who wants a piece of OJ has to get by me.
I forgot about that guy. From Homer needs to get in. You got to make sure you got Josh's information.
I've got it.
Because he beat me in the Beat the Big Dog.
I made sure I did it beforehand.
He needs to get a champions and tickets for an upcoming Havoc game. All right, we got you in, Josh.
All right, thanks. Hey, got a quick. If you got time, I got a quick arrest story. Not actually myself or pullover story.
Yeah.
This was my wife. She grew up in the Shoals area over in Florence, and so it was late '90s, and she's with her best friend's sister and little brother, right? And they had gone to a gas station to I think she and her the girl had picked up the little brother from his girlfriend's house or something, right? And there had been a string of gas station robberies.
Mm.
And the little brother apparently looked similar to one of the people that was involved with the robberies.
Wow.
And so they get pulled over on Cox Creek Parkway in Florence. I don't know if you've been over there, but it's like one of the main drags in Florence. They get pulled over at this big intersection. And 7, 8 cop cars, guns drawn, all this stuff, and they're freaking out. They have no idea what's going on, right?
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's wild. Getaway car.
And of course, as they the cops are screaming for them to get their hands on the roof of the car and stuff, her friend's cell phone is going off in her purse under the seat. So what does she do? She goes to reach for the phone. Cops freak out. Get your hands on the roof! Hands on the roof! Yeah. And so they're totally freaking out. And the little brother gets handcuffed, roughed up, put in the cop car, all this stuff. And of course they're completely innocent and have done nothing. But the funniest part of the story is my wife, as they've got them all out of the car, she's so innocent, she's 18, 19 years old. She's like, what do you want me to do? And she overheard one of the cops say, I don't think this is the people we're looking for.
That's awesome.
That is incredible.
The getaway. She tried to drive the getaway car.
Exactly. And little brother is loving it the whole time because he's 14, 15 years old at the time. He's going to be the big man on campus when he gets back to school, because he's got this greatest story of him getting arrested for doing nothing.
That is fantastic. That's good stuff. Yeah. And thanks for the story. I appreciate that, Josh. The mistaken identity is always a big one, the old mistaken identity thing. I had a routine stop, not just about 4 or 5 years ago. I had a routine stop where I found out that my license was suspended. I forgot about a ticket that I had gotten in Nashville, and I was living in Winchester, and my show was on the air here in Huntsville, and it was I think it was on afternoon drive then. It was around lunchtime, and it was just a random, routine stop thing. Smokey Mike might have been my producer. I don't know if it was Smokey Mike or T-Mac. Maybe it was T-Mac. Anyway, I had to call him because the cop, I had to have him once before, and the cop just said, all right, I'm going to drive away. I'm not, and I don't want to see what you do. And I told this cop, I said, look, let me go home. Let me find out what's going on, and I'll get that fixed immediately. And I was like a mile and a half from my house, and it was in Winchester. And the cop said, no, I've got to take you in. I'm like, you're taking me in, really? And I said, well, let me call my producer and tell him. I had to call him and say, hey, I'm not on the show because I'm about to be booked into jail. I spent the night in jail over a suspended license that I didn't even know I had. Crazy. Grumpy is next. Grumpy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Yeah, I got pulled over one time on the Parkway just a few years back because an old four-wheeler I had, four-wheel drive. It had a brake light that had faded to like a pink color, and it was at night. And I got pulled over for that.
That's just ridiculous. But did you get a citation?
No, but they said that the lady said she could write me one if she wanted to, But I'm polite when I get pulled over. I don't have a problem with police.
I'm always really polite with the cop. Yeah, I'm always really polite with the cop.
Bright. Yeah, but she said it was too bright. It wasn't that it was pink; it was too bright. But anyway, the problem I have with the election type stuff, and I'll be real brief. They need to have an election, a 48-hour or 72-hour period that you can vote. I worked as an RN here in town for years, and I would work 7 to 7, had to be there at 6:30 and left at 7:30. And it was just, there was an entire hospital that unless we wrote an absentee ballot, no one that worked that day could vote. That was silly. But I'll go ahead and do the pick.
You know what? I would be good with. Part of this thing was a deal. I like the idea of Election Day being a national holiday. Of course, you still have to work in a hospital and places like that.
Remember, Tom, there's all kinds of people that just can't vote that day. Why not make it start it 48 hours earlier?
Yeah.
Have a 72-hour period when you can vote for your president and roll with it. Anyway,
that's a good point.
What's the first game there? But I don't want to take up here.
The Cincinnati Bengals get 3.5 in Nashville against the Titans.
Titans.
Touchdown, Derrick Henry, 72-yard gallop.
The 49ers get 5.5 at the Packers.
Man, the Niners look great to me. I'll go with the Niners.
My father's no different than any other powerful man. Any man who's responsible for other people.
I wonder about that single-digit weather there. The Rams get 3.5 at the Bucks.
I'll take the Bucks.
When I suck, I'll retire.
And the Bills get 1.5 at the Chiefs.
You know what? I'm going to go against everything and go with the Bills like you're not supposed to do.
Anyone who wants a piece of OJ has to get by me.
By the way, on the 5 phone calls we've taken on it, 3 have taken the Bills. So,
Hey, I missed it earlier. Isn't Derrick Henry still on injured reserve, man?
No.
I got to go by.
Yeah. No, he's playing. No, he's been cleared for contact, and he's playing.
No.
Hang up your phone.
No, he's playing. He's been cleared for contact.
Listen to me. Hear me on his phone? That's the delay. Let's get a break. We'll come back. Maybe we get Badularian on the other side right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental on the South Memorial Parkway. Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental is independently owned and operated by local folks right here in the Valley? They are celebrating 10 years in the business this year and have grown to be North Alabama's largest supplier of rental skid steers and mini excavators. Now, if you have a question about what tool to use, just call them at 964-6081, and the pros at Valley Equipment will get you into the tool that you need for your specific project. Valley Equipment, more care in every rental. Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
This is the only place for Drew DeArmond, Wes Neighbors, and of course, Thom Abraham.
I never met him, but I hear that he's a man of character.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
So I'm going to watch it on TV.
The game's on. Oh, I almost forgot. I'll be right there.
We like sports and we don't care who knows. From shooting hoops to the Super Bowl. We like sports and we don't care who knows.
Football, tennis, hockey, golf.
The game is starting. Everyone is here. I got my snacks, my friends, and a beer.
So I'm going to watch it on TV.
Are you ready for the football? A Monday night party!
So I'm going to watch it on TV. So I'm going to watch it on TV.
What to watch on TV this weekend is brought to us by the folks at Audio Insight. Dave Bond and his crew, over 20 years installing, designing systems that integrate technology into the homes and businesses all over the Tennessee Valley, and they can take care of yours as well. They work close with you or your builder or your designer or your wife. In my case, it would have to be my wife. They can ensure that the system will meet all your performance needs. They can build you that theater, the home theater that you want. They can get that done for you, and they can hang a TV and put up the sound system for you as well. I am going to put a pull-down screen, like an electric screen with a projector, overhead projector on our carport in the spring for watching TV outside and movies and things, and movie night. I think it would be really, really cool. I'll have these guys come down. Dave Bond and his team will come down and install all that stuff for me because they're great at it. And I'll probably even buy the projector from them as well. Visit their showroom at 1229 Putman Drive off of Jordan Lane, or just visit audio-insight.com and learn more. That's audio-insight.com. Text of the week comes from the Chubby Ninja. He says, true story, I was once arrested for smoking a joint before loading a nuclear bomb on an airplane while I was in the Air Force. The whole thing was just an exercise, but it was hilarious. Yeah, that'll get you clipped. I'm going to say that will get you. That'll get you clipped. If you're loading a nuclear weapon on a plane and you're smoking a ganja, probably going to get you for that one. Badger Larry is up. Badger Larry, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing great, Tommy. How about yourself?
I am fantastic.
All right, now I'm going to Tunica tomorrow, so I want your lock of the weekend pick, so that put a little honey on it or something.
My lock.
Who you got? What do you think?
Of these four games, my lock would be the Titans. I think the Titans are gonna ram the ball down the Bengals' throat. I really think they are.
What about over and unders? Anything?
Under on the 49ers-Packers game, under. Did you hear that stat early in the thing? The last, 15 games at Lambeau Field in single-digit temperature or less have been under 45 points. And I think the over-under right now is 47.5. I would take the under on the 49ers and the Packers. Plus, I think the Packers' defense is going to put the squeeze on Jimmy G and the 49ers' offense.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Bengals get 3.5 at the Titans. What do you think?
I'm going to take the Titans.
Touchdown, Derrick Henry, 72-yard gallop.
49ers get 5.5.
I'll take Brett Favre.
I love Brett Favre.
Yeah, we all do. Rams get 3.5 at the Bucks.
I think the Rams are going to put it to them.
I'm not very tolerant when it comes to the liberals who complain about everything.
Amazing how many people are picking the Rams. I mean, the Rams getting a lot of love. And in our fourth game, the Bills get 1.5 at the Chiefs.
That's a tough one, but I think the Chiefs. Being at home will pull it out.
I really appreciate that Patrick Price on my insurance. Being a champ has its perks.
All right, man, we got you in.
Have I got time for a ticket story?
Yeah, go.
1985, when I first got there, first year, I'm at the corner of University and the Parkway before the overpass was there. And that, anybody knows, that's a very long light.
Yeah.
I got a ticket for sleeping in a parked vehicle.
Were you hammered or not? Come on.
I might have had a beer or 12.
A beer or 12.
So, and I had it parked. And they knocked on my window, gave me a $50 ticket.
Yeah. Well, that'll definitely. Thanks for the call, Badge Larry. Appreciate it. Yeah, sleeping in the car is always a bad one for you if you're at the light. All right, that's going to do it for us. Remember, you've got all the way up until kickoff tomorrow to get your picks in, so you can go ahead and do that on the text window. In the meantime, coming up next is Chuck Oliver, then Paul Feinbaum, and then The Drive, and then me. No, wait a minute. Then Steve on a UAH game. I'll be on the Havoc/Channel Cat game on Zone 4. It's all right here, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing, helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state of